Hey, you guys. This is Brock Pytel from Slip-Ons, and you're listening to CKMS 102.7 Radio Waterloo.
I'm Val Shear, host of the Eclectic Garage here on CKMS. Do you need an interesting or unique gift idea? Or would you like to join CKMS yourself? If so, why not consider donating $25 to CKMS, and you or your gift recipient will receive a half-hour show where you are the host. Whatever your reasons, your donation goes to keeping CKMS on the air.
Am I doing better than I was last year? I lost so many good friends that I held dear. Candy used to cost a penny, and now it costs a dime. Can I make it to the corner store? Can I make it home on time? Will he make it home on time? You got to leave all that trouble all alone. You got to leave all that trouble all alone. You're buried in the rubble and the stone. You got to leave all that trouble all alone. And you should never sing in no man's funeral. And you should never dance in no man's grave. Never whistle in the boneyard when the sun goes down. You stir those spirits up in the cold and draggy rain. They're gonna come and drag you down. They tried to cry at your funeral. Good Lord, I could not find the tears. Your sister held a wounded eye. She's crying, she's screaming in me. Your ex-wife who up and left you, left in pieces on the floor. The boys are in the back shed, and your girls are safe at home. And your girls are safe at home. You got to leave all that trouble all alone. You got to leave all that trouble all alone. You're buried in the rubble and the storm. You got to leave all that trouble all alone. And your widow, she saw a seer. He told her to keep her eyes out for stray dimes. And every time she finds her, she knows that your spirit is doing just fine. And your sons, they look just like you. And in your daughter's eyes, yeah, I think about you when I drive down the second line. And every single time when I drive down the second line, and every single time You got to leave all that trouble all alone. You got to leave all that trouble all alone. You're buried in the rubble and the stone. You gotta leave all that trouble all alone.
Look, yeah. You're listening to CKMS 102.7 FM Radio Waterloo. And that was Stray Dimes by Logan Staats. What an amazing song by him. I believe that's one of his new songs that he had written. And that was by, again, Logan Staats, Stray Dimes. We are Two White Feather, Lori Gentle Eagle, and today we have Cedar Bear, the amazing emotional support pup, including her brothers and sisters, Rogue, Ewo, and Rufus. This is the Red Road Journey, where we aim to amplify Indigenous voices to heal ourselves, our relatives, our communities, and our planet. We are broadcasting you from the traditional territories of the neutral Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee people. Today on the Red Road Journey, we'll be expanding our conversation started last week on becoming a protector and a kind man, to include looking at men's mental health through a decolonized and Indigenous lens.
So to begin, here are some reflections on mental health as a colonial label by Zenith Lily Eckett. And Two White Feather is just going to pull up the notes on this.
You texted it to me? Yep, sorry.
Okay. So, Zenith Lily Eckett, she says, before colonization, Indigenous communities had systems of care that were complex, layered, and deeply relational. Mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being were never separate things. They were understood as woven together, just like we were woven into our families, our nations, and the land itself. A person who was struggling wasn't seen as broken. They were seen as someone who had fallen out of balance, someone who needed the community to come closer. There were no asylums, no locked wards, no diagnoses written in charts. Instead, there were songs, there was land. There were aunties who knew when to speak and when to sit in silence. There were elders who could feel what was unspoken, and there were ceremonies designed not to fix, but to hold. Among the Cree, the Dene, the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, the Inuit, every nation had its own ways of understanding what we now call mental illness. And while the practices looked different from place to place, the core understanding was shared. Healing happened in relationship, with people, with land, with ancestors, with the spirit world, and with yourself. A young person grieving too deeply might be sent out on the land for a fast. Someone having visions might be brought to a ceremony, not to silence them, but to learn from them. A person who felt lost might be surrounded with kin, not questioned, shamed, not punished. There were ways to tend to that pain, and there were room for people who experienced the world differently. Colonization didn't just disrupt those systems, it tried to erase them. The Indian Act outlawed our ceremonies. Residential schools ripped children from their families and then punished them for reacting to the trauma. Indian hospitals and psychiatric institutions became dumping grounds for people whose pain was never named or understood, only managed. Many Indigenous women and girls were institutionalized for nervousness, grief, or resistance. Some were even sterilized, and some never came home. Even now we see the legacy. Indigenous people are still misdiagnosed at alarming rates, especially with schizophrenia, when the real diagnosis might be complex post-traumatic stress disorder, grief, or spiritual emergence. Our people are overrepresented in suicide statistics, in involuntary holds, in systems that still do not understand us. We are still sent to institutions when we are hurting instead of being brought into community to heal. But the truth is, those original ways of knowing, they never fully disappeared. They lived on in our auntie's hands, in whispered teachings, in songs we hummed quietly under our breath when the Indian agent wasn't looking. And now they are coming back to the surface. We are remembering how to care for each other in ways that don't come from colonial models of control. We are bringing back land-based healing, elder-led circles, trauma-informed ceremony. We are blending what works from clinical models with what our ancestors already knew to be true, that healing is not linear, not fast, and not something that happens in isolation. It happens in circle, in kinship, in stories that don't get interrupted, in places where we are allowed to feel the full weight of what we carry without being punished for it. We were never meant to heal alone, and we never will. We are meant to heal together.
Oh.
So that is Zenith Lily Eckett.
Oh, that's a good one. So, A Wound with the View is all about reconstructing the mental health and justice system. It is a social prescription for wellness that aims to connect people to support network activities, resources that address the social determinants of health. It is an emerging grassroots crisis response alternative that is grounded in Indigenous ways of knowing and being, which includes two-eyed seeing perspectives, promotes pure wisdom and mutual aid within and across nations. Our motto is, what makes us different makes a difference. We have many beliefs and practices in common with what we just heard about from Zenith.
We do not see people who are struggling as broken. Rather, we see them as living a life that is unbalanced. The medicine wheel guides all that we are and what we do.
We believe that the healing happens in relationships with ourselves, other relatives, the land, our ancestors, the spirit world, and that is why our ripple effect circles for community helpers are central to our ego visioning process, and that it implements
and to the implementation
of projects, programs, and events.
And I just want to put in a plug here. Sorry to interrupt, Two White Feather.
Worries.
But this Wednesday, May the 28th at the Civic Hub, we're having another Ripple Effects Circle for community helpers between 6 and 8 p.m. Or you can join us virtually. You just need to let us know, and we'll send you the Zoom link to learn more about how we can all come together and, implement these projects and programs, some of which are on the go, and some we'd love to hear more about your ideas.
Yes, yeah. So we're excited about that. So please come out, or if you want, online.
So we know from lived and living experiences that many Indigenous folks and our relations who are marginalized are misdiagnosed and sent to institutions when they are hurting, and we would add, or have hurt others, instead of being welcomed into their communities to heal. And that includes even being welcomed into some ceremonies and not, excluded. Multi-generational trauma and deeply rooted grief takes from a person's spirit. And A Womb with a View makes room for all people who experience the world differently as a result of this wounding.
We are not guaranteed a safe place. Instead, we get messy as we play in the sandbox together. But we do work towards cultivating supportive spaces that allow us to feel the full weight of what we carry, without the fear of being judged or shunned or punished. So we shake off the mud so that we can return to who we truly are. And that's the, that's the one thing about safe places. Safe place. You can have a safe place, but that's in a controlled environment. For instance, your house. When you're out in community, there's not a guarantee of safe place. What if someone comes in and starts a ruckus? That's not a safe place. But what we can do is supportive space. We're not judged, or we're not judging anyone. Because there's not a guarantee of a safe place if we're out in community. I want to let you guys know that.
Yeah, I mean, what triggers one person may not necessarily trigger the other, right?
Yeah.
And I just want to say, just want to add to what you just said there too, White Feather. With the supported space, we would be wrapping around both the person triggered, so to speak, and doing the triggering.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's a very fine line, as we know, from our lived and living experience between those two.
Yes, that's correct. So it's been said that through storytelling, that as we walk through life, we are shot with many arrows. As we make that commitment towards healing and walking the red path, we learn that the wise ones about to take out those arrows.
We learn from the wise ones.
We learn from the wise ones about how we take out those arrows and fill the holes with something good. Calling our spirit home is necessary so we do not walk in the way that the wounds others. So here's Logan Staats talking about his healing through music.
Okay, and I'm just going to pull that up.
Signed to a major record deal. It was a really positive experience doing that whole thing, but it kind of took me away from just like my organic style of writing, my therapeutic kind of medicinal style of writing music. The journey since then has just been kind of reclaiming that sound, that love for music and that freedom inside of music. That was a long process, but it just got me back to, writing the kind of songs that I want to write and telling the kind of stories that I want to tell. I like to sing about my community and issues that we face as Indigenous people from the day to day. A lot of these songs are just personal for me. They're about love, loss, and desperation, reclaiming that culture and that process of reclamation. Is embodied in every chord that I play and note that I sing. I say all the time, most important things to me are my family, my community, and my music. And I think those three things are definitively embodied in my music. And when I play live, I think you can hear authentic emotion coming through. Cracks in my voice, you can hear just that emotion coming through is what I mean by that embodiment. The sorrow or the trauma that I've experienced or the things that I've healed from or overcome. I think you can definitively hear that in my voice. I struggled a lot with different vices in the music industry. I'm coming from a small community. I struggled with things like social anxiety, turned towards drugs and alcohol for a long time to kind of escape and numb that. Writing about that has just been like an incremental step on my healing journey. Anytime you can just sing something and just get it out, sing it at the top of your lungs and share it, it's just a big step in healing. That's one of the things that I try to do with my songwriting. Leave it so it can be open to interpretation. It can mean something different to someone or the same thing to someone, but I try to write in a way that it can relate to people in different levels.
Look, yeah, so that was amazing from Logan Staats. That's how, how healing through music helps him. And it really helps me too, healing through music. If you listen to whatever, I listen to a variety. So depending on what I listen to, you can really tell on how I'm feeling or what I'm trying to express. Because, for me, words in English is, it's hard for me to express how I'm feeling. So if you're listening to the music that I'm, every day, or how I'm feeling, that's usually how I'm feeling, So yeah. So therapy for blackmen.org is is a resource we have discovered on social media. We have many transformative posts. In one of the posts, they talk about how many good men have wounded little boys living inside of them. The danger of which is the unprocessed wounds become patterns coded in nervous system, and unhealed pain becomes an identity. Masculinity becomes a survival costume that protects the hole in hearts of those little boys where love should have been. Therapy for Black Men says that what is needed is truth, tenderness, and spirit-led care to move through the mental terrain that far too often keeps the programmed from becoming the programmer. Attending to the mental health of men is not about self-help. It is about sacred repair, so that we are able to be with the men who are not guarded protectors, but warriors who are vulnerable and have places to mourn instead of rage.
Yeah, so you might want to check out that resource. That's therapyforblackmen.org. And we came across it, as we said, on social media. So it is on Facebook, but I'm sure they likely have a web page as well with lots of good stuff. So we thought we would have some reflection time on what mental health is for Indigenous people and for men, as seen through Two White Feathers' own lived and living experiences. And I think because we've talked with you, a number of times now over the radio, Two White Feather, we know that you have been shot with many arrows since a very young person. And in terms of those arrows representing trauma and mental health and addictions, we know that you struggle with complex post-traumatic stress and symptoms of fetal alcohol spectrum. And you've talked quite a bit about recovery from substance use. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about what helped you find the red path. And would you say you're in the process of calling back your spirit home?
So, I think my mental health started, I'll have to go back. And, a lot of people know a little bit about my story. But this is going back to when, at age 4, April 21st, 1998, 96, 98 or something like that. And CS came, and, I was so traumatized. All I remember was all these big cops and CAS were standing around me telling me what to say so that they could take us. And, I denied everything, but they still took us because, whatever. And I think that's where my mental health really came out as a kid. Because, when I got to the one foster home, I used to bike and everything and, camp out, go camping for days. I'd miss school just because I wanted to be out in nature. And that's what really helped me, right? And then when I got kicked out of there at age 10, or 11, I started using drugs and started running away to my dad's. And, a lot of stuff had happened before that point, and I don't want to really get into that. That could be another whole radio show just about me right there, on stuff that has happened to me and why my mental health is how it is today. But I'm right now though. I'm struggling. I'm not gonna lie. I am struggling. My mental health, it's really coming out right now. And if you haven't used drugs, if you use drugs, you probably have mental health now. And if you didn't use drugs and you had mental health before that, and you use drugs, your mental health is even come out even more, like how it happened to me, because I had mental health all my life, but they just put me on all this meds so that they can control me, and I was just like a zombie, and I didn't care, and that's why I sort of got into the drugs, because if they're drugging me up, why can't I drug myself up? So that's where my mental health really going downhill from there. And
you said that you're really struggling right now, and that actually leads me into one of the other questions I had for you, and that was around how is it that you walk that red road on those days when you feel like you've lost your way? What kind of pulls you back onto the right path?
Everyone knows I live with my support, Lori, and a lot of people know that we have fur babies, our kiddos, which is our fur babies, our dogs. Those are our kids, and every morning I wake up, I see them, I go for my coffee. Cedar always comes with me. Doesn't matter if she's really tired or not. She'll still come with me. And, to have that. And then we come home and then they're all willing to, oh, we're excited. You're home now. And I've only been gone for maybe 5-10 minutes to get a coffee. That feels good. That's what love is. And then having Lori, say, waking up, having her ice cap that I got for her, and, seeing her, and, to be honest, I don't say this enough, but she is beautiful. She has a beautiful soul, and, I wish I could control my mental health, but, I got to remember that, okay, if that's coming out, I have these kiddos, I have her, I have crafting, I have biking, but sometimes when those days get really tough, those are the days that I feel like using too, and those are really tough, and it seems like those are the days that I'm not trying to blame anyone, but when those are the days that when she goes into work for 14 hours, whatever, 12, 14 hours, and those are the days that I have a hard time. 3 out of 7 days. But I have the kiddos here, so that's what helps me to stay on that right track and just to keep busy. Like, within the last couple of weeks, we've all gone outside. We're pretty much got the garden ready for us to plant, and I was gonna go out and cut the lawn when it's a little bit nicer. It is sort of sunny out but cloudy, so maybe not today because I'm not sure, but trying to keep busy with different things, and that's what really helps me. And I got to remember that even in those hard times that, okay, I could maybe clean the house, or since we got hardwood floors, wash the floors, properly, this and that. And, there's always something to do. It's a matter of how hard it is that day for me, And since I went up on my Suboxone, because I talked to my rat clinic, I told her everything truthfully this time. And she said she's glad that I came out and told her the truth. And I went up, so it's a little bit easier for me because I've gone up to 5 or 6 mils of Suboxone, so it's a little bit easier. But those hard days are, like I said, 3 out of the 7 days are really hard for me because that's when Lori's gone to work. But I have these kiddos, and we try to keep busy as best as we can. But she can even tell you, I call her probably 10 times a day when she's at work. And those are usually those are the times I really have trouble. But I try not to show that so that she's not worried, or the kids aren't worried, right?
Yeah, and I thank you for sharing all that you did there. And I just want to say, to people who struggle with mental health in all the various ways it manifests, sometimes those arrows, they've pierced the skin. They've gone in pretty deep. And, it takes practice, a daily practice, an hourly practice, whatever it is for that individual to really dig deep, remove that arrow and think of ways and actually do some of those things to fill the holes with something good, right? Yeah. And you've named a number of different things, and I know that those have worked for you. Sometimes we forget, right, on the bad days. Yeah. And when you're a supporter and a caregiver as well, I think it's something to acknowledge as well that you have those bad days too.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
And you might not always be on your game because you're affected, right? Because, someone that you care about is affected. Mm-hmm. And, just give yourself that grace and patience as well. And, together, you can get through it. And,
I think that's what pretty much the whole thing is. What Lori just said is, if she might be affected because of my mental health. And it's true, your closest loved ones, if you're opening up, they do get affected because they hurt because of you hurting. And, some days it's hard for them. But, if we can work together and put our heads together, we will walk out of it, with something good out of it, a lesson, but, if you can work together and find that supportive person or that partner that you can do that with, that's going to be the best thing for you. And, and this is the best thing for me is, Lori Gentle Eagle and our kiddos.
Yeah. And, I got to say too, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, is something I also have as well due to being a survivor of various forms of abuse throughout my life and other forms of trauma. So it's a hard one. Two White Feather, I get it. Yeah. And you have layers upon layers due to being an Indigenous person as well. But I wanted to say too, and we're gonna do another show on this fetal alcohol spectrum.
Yeah,
I've been blown away by all that I've learned through, the interactions that I've had with Two White Feather. It is challenging, because it is not about behavior; it's about the brain, and we have very little control over our brains, right? Especially brains that have been damaged. Yeah.
A vulnerable brain,
right from the
beginning. Like me,
Yeah. So, and I know that's one that not many people truly understand. And Two White Feather has really struggled with a lot of stigma and shunning as a result of that.
Yeah.
So we are going to move into some music, and I wanted to, thank you for sharing and being vulnerable, and in light of that, I wanted to play a song for you by Andrea Menard. She's a Métis woman, and she spoke actually during one of the workshops at the Moose Hide campaign.
Yes.
That we talked about last week. And she dedicated this to all the men out there. So we're going to play that, and then we're going to get into your playlist. Did you want to just name some of your songs?
The first one's going to be To Be a Man by Dex. The second one, I Am Not Okay by Jelly Roll. Third one, and everyone loves this. Everyone loves this. Linkin Park, Numb is the song. And then we got the fourth one, Cody, Coyote, Lost. And then Nataanii means warrior.
So thanks for listening.
And Chimigwech. And, you know, sorry for me a little bit crying, but some things are a little touchy. But thank you for supporting us. And, you know, you guys are amazing. So thank you and keep up the good work, you guys. Much love.
Ein für Shansoon, the Fire Honor Song. This song is a release song, and it's a song dedicated and honoring the sacred masculine spirit, that beautiful fiery energy that lives within the masculine. And in our world, men and those who identify as men don't have a safe space to express their emotions in the world. It's been this Western colonized way of looking at feelings has not been working for men or women, but especially our men. And so this is a song for you men, for you to express deeply held emotions in a healthy, good way, in a fiery way, because you have that right to, you have that ability to feel deeply, and you are allowed to, especially midship matey men, you feel deeply, but we want you to have a place to express it. So this song is a release song. And singing is a great medicine because it helps you release deep-held emotions by breathing deeply, by using sound. And this is just one of those ancient techniques. So this is for men. And this song was written by me, but also translated by Graham Andrews.
I can't hide myself. I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home. Yeah, I know this life can really beat you down. You wanna scream, but you won't make a sound. Got so much weight that you've been holding, but won't show any emotion. As a man that goes unspoken, that we can't cry when life gets hard. Unconditional loves for women, children, and dogs. We know that we just have to play our parts, and don't nobody give a damn about our broken hearts. Yeah, as a man we gotta pave our way. Our only function is to work and slave. There's no respect for you if you ain't paid. You're disregarded as a human and you can't complain. And if you ever make it up and actually reach that place and find a woman that you love and give her your last name, you'll feel the things that you provide is only why she stays. And when you try to explain, you'll say, I can't hide myself. I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home. Don't give up, keep fighting. As a man, our sun is our horizon, and our father's actions play a role, and we end up like them. So they can't let us see them hurt, cause we'll embody what they do and start a generational curse. No wonder most men are so depressed, all the things that they can't express. They go to war, get thrown on the shelf, then go back to war with their mental health. Then grab that bottle and ask for help, try to pull themselves out of hell, then fall back down and then realize that they're gonna have to do it themselves. It's the circle of life. As a man you provide, they don't know what you're worth till the day that you die, and that's when they start crying. Then move on to a man to confide in. That's why we feel we can't hide ourselves. We don't expect you to understand. We just hope we can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and you don't care about what we know. It's not about how we feel, but what we provide inside that home. Inside that home. It's not about how we feel, but what we provide inside that home. Inside that home. I am not okay. I'm barely getting by. I'm losing track of days, losing sleep at night. I am not okay. I'm hanging on the rails. So if I say I'm fine, just know I learned to hide it well. I know I can't be the only one who's holding on for dear life. But God knows, I know, when it's all said and done, I'm not okay, but it's all gonna be alright. It's not okay, but we're all gonna be alright. I woke up today, I almost stayed in bed, had the devil on my back and voices in my head days it ain't all bad. Some days it all gets worse. Some days I swear I'm better off laying in that dirt. I know I can't be the only one who's holding on for dear life. But God knows, I know when it's all said and done, I'm not okay, but it's all gonna be alright. It's not okay, but we're all gonna be alright. Gonna be alright. Gonna be alright. I know one day we'll see the other side. The pain will wash away in a holy water tide, and we all gonna be alright. I know I can't be the only one who's holding on for dear life. But God knows, I know when it's all said and done, I'm not okay, but it's all gonna be alright. It's not okay, but we're all gonna be alright. I'm not okay, but it's all gonna be alright.
All I want to do is be more like me and be less
Have you ever been trapped and you felt so stuck? When you look around, there's no one to trust. You've got nothing left, yet they all want more. Putting up your walls, closing off all doors. Have you ever been asked to be their support? Yet they won't be found when you need someone. You're becoming desperate for some help when you suffer in silence by yourself. Who do you turn to? Where do you go? Is anybody listening? Do they know? When do you give in? When do you fold? The signs you're giving, do they show? Why do I feel so lost? I don't know where to go next. I've never been so lost. Is this where the road ends? Why do I feel so lost? I don't know where to go next. I've never been so lost. Is this where the road ends? Lost. Have you ever been attacked and you felt helpless? You would ask for help, but there's no help there. You've got nothing left and you can't take this. Only one way out, but you can't make it. Have you ever been detached from the ones you love? Too many fake friends, no one good enough. Now you stay on your own, so you cannot dwell. Yet when you're alone, you feel in a cell. Who do you turn to? Where do you go? Is anybody listening? Do they know? When do you give in? When do you fold? The signs you're giving, do they show? Why do I feel so lost? I don't know where to go next. I've never been so lost. Is this where the road ends? Why do I feel so lost? I don't know where to go next. I've never been so lost. Is this where the road ends? Lost, lost, lost.
We come from warrior blood, us men. So that feeling that you have at times when you're angry and you're upset, that goes generations back when we had that. We had to fight for our women and our children and our elders.
The last of a dying breed, with dreams of being free. Hooked up to the tree to breathe, bleed my sins away. Future's not tomorrow but today. See death creeping around the corner. Call the coroner on another fallen warrior in the land of the forgotten. Bad seeds already rotten. Popping pills to fill the void of death knocking. You can guarantee the feds watching, cause we grew up around these revolutionaries who went to Wounded Knee to get their hearts buried. Raised a hustle once I see my mama struggle. Born in the heart where our chiefs bled, where the water tastes like lead, where we deal with these alcoholics and meth heads. Fed lies from the school system, misinterpret Thanksgiving, teach history like it's fiction. What's written ain't fact. We take down these flags, raise an eagle staff. I'm a warrior, the last of a dying breed, with dreams of being free, hooked up to the tree to breathe. Fighting to live, living to die, till I'm with my people up in the sky. Yo, I said I'm really on my worst behavior, hoping to find strength in prayer. Creator got my back, but crazy horse my savior. Lost in illusions, conscious decisions, lost in confusion. My people prostituting, traditions losing values, what we doing? I'm rising from the bottomless pits with a blind grip, closed fists with cold fists. My young kids are crying. I'm trying, fighting, but we keep on dying. I'm sick of seeing people sick, healing in bottles of 80 proof. Been fighting wars since 1490 deuce. You want the truth? I'll speak existence in this booth. My homies in the Senate counting coup. What's new? So motherfucker John Wayne, motherfuck your campaigns. I'm still in acid rain, spit more heat than hell's flames. I'm a warrior to the death of me, fight until there's nothing left in me. Cops killing, no wonder why my homies stay strapped. Fuck repping the state, I got my people on my back. The last of a dying breed, with dreams of being free. Hooked up to the tree to breathe. Hooked up to the tree to breathe. Fighting to live, living to die, till I'm with my people up in the sky. Till I'm with my people up in the sky.
Jeg vil nästan i din mouth, in my thin down. Big vision, yeah, I'm big up when I'm biting down. It's in the magic one about it then. It's in the man I didn't bite it then. Queen, I'm a thin mouth. Ci guarda per tutti i tiri da questa tacqua. Need a man by me Twitter, no need a man that should but that team. I'm not the town. It's the shoot.
Bonjour, Wache. I'm Sarah Kay.